Welcome to video number 4, Start Your Own Business, the How. Okay, so in this video I want to talk about how you can actually do this. Okay, and number 1, in my opinion, is courage. Because if you want to start your own business, you need to have the courage to let go of the past, get rid of your job, and take a leap of faith. And this is not always so easy for most people, because obviously we have financial liabilities like, rent or mortgage, car payments, credit cards, and whatever you have. And so the problem is that we need to have a certain income level to maintain our lifestyle or to have some savings set aside in order to make our business work. And what would I suggest and how you do this? Obviously, having some financial security or some cushion is definitely going to help. And one time I read in a book of someone who said you should have 12 months of savings, basically, so that if you don't have any income for 12 months, so that you have savings on the side. And I thought about that, but by the time when I started my own business, I didn't have that kind of money saved, so I couldn't do that. I thought, well, maybe it's a good idea to have 6 to 12 months, but reality is most people don't have that kind of money saved. So it's always better to have some security. However, the way I see it, it has to do with courage. Now, you shouldn't just blindly quit your job and jump into this and hope for the best, because you need to have a little bit of, let's say, experience or a proof that it's going to work, or you can somehow imagine it's going to work. If you do a little bit more of this, or a little bit more of that, then more sales are going to come. What you shouldn't do is you shouldn't start your own business without any kind of, let's say, reference or little success or prototype or whatever. And I also suggest you have a few sales already of your existing product or service that you want to sell. So if you have a job and while you're working, you develop the concept of the company, you prepare as much as you can while you're working in your free time, at night, on the weekends, and so forth. Or some people do it even at work if they have an hour or so. But just really prepare as much as you can. And then when you feel like, okay, you're ready, and all you have to do is doing the sales activity, then you should have a couple of sales results, okay? So don't do something that hasn't been tested before. Test it first. Use common sense, okay? Use common sense with everything that you do. But at the same time, it takes courage. It takes a leap of faith. And sometimes it's better just to do it and go for it with all your heart. And that's my advice for making that transition, because it's never the right moment. It's never perfect. And there's always going to be a risk. Life is risk. And you just have to do it that way. Now, as I said, you should have a proof of concept or a prototype. You should have something finished where it's going to sell, because you need to sell a product or service in order to make money. And people need to be willing to do it from day one, okay? So you can't say, oh, I'm going to start my own business, and the first 3 months what you're doing is preparing, writing, and so forth. That's not the way to do it. So what you have to do is you have to prepare as much as you can while you still have a job. Finish what you can finish. And then when you start with your own business, you need to focus on sales and marketing. And those things are your number one activity for the first little while. So prepare your prototype. Now, I want to talk about something else. And I want to talk about 3 questions from an entrepreneur to someone who started their own business, but then was kind of on the verge of quitting. And those 3 questions were this. Number 1, do you have a roof over your head? Okay, so which means can you live somewhere, even if it's on someone's couch or something like that? Okay. Number 2, do you have something to eat? Okay, can you have food and can you continue like that? Okay, yes. And number 3 is, do you have people who love you, even though they think maybe you're a little bit crazy, but they love you and they support you anyway? And if you can answer yes to those 3 questions, you should just keep going, because nothing can really happen to you. I mean, what's the worst that can happen to you? You can Fail. Okay, you can fail, you can lose everything. Okay, great. And then what? You just take another job, or you go on unemployment, or whatever it is you have to do in that moment. But in the end, you're not gonna die. Okay, nothing is really going to happen to you. Yeah, you might have some hardship. Yeah, you might have problems. But the thing is, what's the alternative? The alternative is you can succeed and you have a great life and you make much more money than before, and you're going to be much happier this way. So even if things get hard, just remember, we live in a rich society. There's abundance everywhere. Nothing can really happen to you, and you should just go for it. I want to talk about momentum and perfection, because that's really, really important. And some people have a big, big problem with this, because some people are perfectionists, or they call themselves perfectionists. And because of that, they can never really finish something, or they think it's not perfect enough to send out to someone, or whatever the reason might be. Okay, and here's what I learned from my own experience. If 80% of what you're doing is good, okay, and it's not perfect, but 80% good, then go with it. You need momentum in the beginning. That's the key to success. You need to have little successes. You need to have clients. You need to have, you need to move forward, okay, in your development. So let's say when I started out, I had a presentation. About our company, and the company presentation wasn't perfectly done. It didn't look like a designer created it. Okay, it was done by me, and it was not that great. I can actually show it to you right now. You see, this was the presentation, okay, and we printed it out, and you see, it doesn't really look all that great. It was just a basic presentation. And with that, we went to investors and to companies, and we solicited clients. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't look that awesome. Okay, but you know what? The main things were in there, and we started to raise money based on that, let's say, bad designed presentation. Okay, so even if it's not perfect, then also I created a newsletter. Every month I created a newsletter. And the newsletter too, at first, it didn't look that great, okay? But once we got money and we had some savings in the company, we hired someone to create a nice design, and it looked much better the second and third month. So in the beginning, you need momentum. You just need to get it done. You need to get it out there, and you can improve things as you move along. But you need to have successes, okay? Don't hold yourself back because you have that feeling of, oh, it needs to be perfect, and otherwise I can't present it to clients or something like that, okay? And that's wrong. So everything that you do, as I said, if 80% is good, that's good enough, and go with it, run with it. And after that, improve as your business continues to go. And then, of course, make it perfect. But in the beginning, just get it done. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about Hemis and how we got started, just so you have a little bit of an idea of how things could be or how they look like. And when we started out, we had an option for a project to acquire in Mexico, which means we didn't own the project yet, we just had an option to acquire it, okay? So what we needed is we needed some money in the company. So we didn't have any money in the company, or not very much, and we had an office, yes, but we had an option for a project, but basically we had thin air, and we had an idea, okay? We had the motivation, but the number one job that we had to do was, now we had to present this project or this option to investors, okay? So we had to go out there and sell it, and sell the shares so we could raise money for the company and bring money into the company. And the first client that we ever had, okay, invested $5,500, okay? $5,500, okay? Second investor, $11,000, okay? $11,000. So we had $16,000 and $500, okay? This was our first month, okay? Which means that's the money we got from two investors in the first month. You only had two clients, two investors, okay? Two small private investors. Now, with the $16,500, we also had to obviously survive. We had to live. We had to pay rent for the our office, and also we needed to make sure we would survive. But then also we could invest a little bit of money into marketing material. So we took some of that money, invested into marketing material, created a better brochure, hired a designer, created better flyers and whatever we needed, and made that happen. Now, at that point, and here's the interesting thing. We only had 2 clients, 2 sales, and I got really discouraged. I got really frustrated. I thought, oh my God, this is never ever going to work. I'm going to have to, I don't know, the project's going to fail. I have to pay back those people. I'm going to, everything's going to go down. And then I had a partner, and my partner Bruno, he encouraged me. He was kind of naive, because he said, it's going to work, don't worry, we just do it. And he didn't worry. And he said, I just talked to this guy, he might do 50,000, I talked to that guy. And because of his positive attitude, because of his, let's just go out there, let's just go and see who else likes it. Because of that, he kept me going. And because of that, we continued to see people, who continued to make meetings with a happy, positive attitude. And that was very, very important. That was key. Because now, look at this. The second month, we raised 160,000 from one client alone, okay? So with 160,000, we had a little bit more money in the bank now. What did we do? We were able to book flights to Mexico, fly down to the projects, meet all the people, and I'm talking from Europe, okay? So we flew from Europe there, and what we did is we secured 3 deals, okay? We got 3 deals, 3 projects, and it was about 20,000 per project, so we had 3 times 20,000 that we put in there, and we're able to pay for everything. And that was important because now all of a sudden we had real projects in the company, and then we were able to go to Utah and meet one of the geologists who agreed to be on our board. And then based on that, things kept going. So he referred another geologist, and that geologist another geologist, and then so forth. And then the 4th month, 6th month. So in about the first, I would say 6 months, we ended up raising probably $500,000 to $1 million. I don't know all the details anymore. But about, we started getting money into the company and more investors. And with more money in the company, with more investors, we were able to get more projects, get more geologists, get people on board, make everything better, improve things as they were. And it's just started with an idea, and we improved things as we continued to do so. And that's the key in this whole momentum part. But the key was also that sales and marketing is your number 1 job, and you should just keep going, even though maybe the beginning is not that great, okay? Even though you have only a little bit of success, just be naive, so to speak, when it comes to sales and marketing, when it comes to talking to different people, because you just need to get your message out there. You need to sit in front of people, and you need to sit in front of, I would say, at least 100 different people before you can judge whether it's a good idea or not, whether it's working or not, okay? But once you've actually talked to 100 people and you presented your idea with enthusiasm, you will be able to get them involved or convinced, okay? And that was key. That was very, very important. Now, if you've read the book from Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks, I think he went to over 250 different investors and asked for money, and he ended up getting only 12. Okay, so look at that, those numbers. He only got 12 investors who actually invested, and all those investors in the end were happy, made millions of dollars. But he could have given up. He could have resigned. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to say. Just keep going.